guys, this is Redline here, bringing you guys another Destiny 2 build video, and today we are going over a Strand Warlock Warmind cell build. Now, if you don't know, Bungie reintroduced Warmind cells. Well, not the cells themselves, but the effect of Warmind cells through the 7th Seraph armor set. Now, if you want to get the armor set, all you have to do is go to Cosmodrome, and you can't get a set there. I thought maybe Shaw High sold this set, but he doesn't. So in order for you to get this set, as a tier 3 or anything, I guess you just have to play. You just have to farm uh, chests and whatnot. But if you want the tier 4, tier 5 version, then you wait till there's a distortion on the Cosmodrome, and you can farm it there. Now, a few notes about the build. Um, it's pretty good for the ad clearing. It's great for ad clearing. Um, it's pretty the way I got it set up is pretty synergistic. It's pretty decent in group play as well. As long as your teammates ain't shooting your tangles or taking your tangles, then it'll work fine. The strength of the build really comes from good positioning, meaning like where you are and the tangles you're going to create, where they're positioned at. So let's get into the setup. So before we go over the rest of the setup, let's go over what the armor set does. So the 2-piece is Rasputin's Wrath, final blows with area of effect damage, solo abilities, Seventh Seraph weapons, or Aikilos weapons grant Warmind charges. Each stack of Warmind charge increases your weapons and grenade stats. While you have Warmind charges, defeating powerful combatants and destroying a construct or destroying a tangle releases a solar detonation that damages combatants and heals allies. So, this build is going to be focused around creating tangles because destroying a tangle also causes the Warmind explosion. So we're going to be focusing on creating and destroying as many tangles as we can. So now for the subclass, obviously Strand, Brood Reaver. I have the Healing Rift, Balance Glide, Arcane Needle, Threatling Grenade. The Wanderer, which is tangles you throw, attach to targets, and detonate into a suspending burst. Destroying tangle creates a suspending burst after a short delay. Threatling final blows create tangles or reduces your current tangle cooldown. So the Wanderer also going to help us lower the cooldowns of those tangles. So that's another way we're going to be able to create them more often than usual. And then we have Weave Walk. Double press dodge while airborne to consume your melee energy and enter the weave, gaining damage resistance from combatants and players. Reactivate your air dodge and cast your rift to exit the weave, generating woven mail for you and nearby allies. While in the weave, your melee energy is drained and you generate perched threatlings over time. Threatling hits generate ability energy. Side note, it says threatling hits generate ability energy, but I'm not sure if there's a typo. The threatling hits generate class ability energy. It's not just, it's not, any ability or all your abilities. It's class ability energy. So this is going to be, these two are pivotal to this build. Weave Walk is going to be there for your survivability. The damage resistance is extreme. Like it takes so much to kill you in this state. And the fragments we have Thread of Transmutation, Thread of Evolution, Thread of Warding, and Thread of Wisdom, and Thread of Fury. Now I have an alternate setup for this build that actually works better in my opinion. But I'm gonna go over it after I go through everything else and explain to you a few adjustments I made in the second setup. It's not a lot. It's just a few mods here, a few fragments changed here and there, and but the second build also works. It works exactly the same. So starting with the main weapon we're going to be using is the Quicksilver Storm. Uh, Comes with corkscrew rifling, high caliber rounds, grenade tracer. Launching multiple tracers loads a grenade. Press square, long press square to switch to grenade launcher mode. Then it has hand laid stock. And then the intrinsic trait is missile tracers. Landing multiple hits turns your next shot into a homing micro missile. This is gonna the micro missile is gonna be important to the setup. And then you have the catalyst. The catalyst is necessary. This build is not gonna work as good, or yeah, definitely really at all without the catalyst. Catalyst is nano entanglement. This weapon's damage type becomes strand. Final blows with grenades from this weapon creates tangle. Now you need this catalyst because it turns. Without this catalyst, the Quicksilver Storm is a kinetic weapon. With the catalyst, it turns it into a strand weapon. So you need a strand weapon in order to shoot the tangles. Now, what I have in my secondary, I have the Unfall sidearm, the rocket sidearm with lead from gold and jolting feedback. Alternatively, if you don't have the Unfall, you can use the side etanura. Is that how you say it? But basically, I'm just using this to kind of cover uh, having, something for the champions pretty much. And the unfall, I prefer the unfall over this because the ammo economy with this gun is a lot better. Ever since they nerfed the ammo in the Science Tenera, like you kind of got to build a little bit more into it in order to keep it going. So I prefer using this. This is my suggestion. And I have jolted feedback on it to also help with the ad clear and whatnot. Before I did use one for all, but I felt like jolted feedback worked a little bit better. But if you are going to use the PSI Eterna, um, it's an unstoppable, just like the Strand. But as long as you got jolting feedback on there, you're going to be fine for overload champions because of jolting feedback. Jolting feedback, I mean jolting overlord champion is going to stun them. And so in the heavy slot, I'm using the Haliatus. You can honestly use whatever you want. If you want something to cover anti-barrier champions, you can do that as well. Um, Actually, in the second setup in the gameplay, I'm actually using the hothead instead of the Haliatus. So, but it's like I say, it's totally up to you. If you want something that's going to cover anti-barriers as well, you can do that perfectly fine. So I want to talk about first the stat distribution. Um, the recommended stat distribution is 100 melee, 100 super, and 100 class ability energy. So if you can get like I said at least 100, I have 120 here, and it actually my stats actually could be higher here because I don't have these masterwork. I ran out of materials, so but yeah, like I said, at least 100 melee, at least 100 super, and 100 class ability energy. So starting with the helmet, I'm rocking melee mod. This is a Reaver. This is a Reaver type with class ability and melee. I have access to assets, harmonic siphon, and then I have a heavy ammo finder. And the reason I have heavy ammo finder is because I'm also have lead from gold on my sidearm. And then I have demolitionist gloves. I have a Superman here, and I'm rocking heavy-handed impact induction. The two impact induction mods. Heavy-handed and firepower. Honestly, you can switch between these two. Um, I feel like since you're going to be getting your melee more often, that you're going to be using your melee and getting your melee more often. Heavy handed is just the right move to go with. But I mean, either way, because your grenades are gonna be getting kills as well. So it's totally up to you. But like I said, I prefer heavy handed. And so the chess piece that we are using is the Metaiodoxia. Um, the armor perk on this one is Stylostixis. Targets damaged by Arcane Needle emit a suspending detonation when defeated. Landing multiple Arcane Needles or Needle Storm, which is the super, on the same target immediately triggers a larger, more powerful detonation. Defeating suspended targets grants melee energy. Your Arcane Needles are strong against barrier champions. So basically, you land an Arcane Needle, they're going to get marked. The enemy is going to get marked. When you shoot that enemy or kill him, he's going to proc a suspending burst and suspend all the enemies around him. But if you land all 3 needles on that same target, it's still gonna proc the suspending burst whether you kill him or not. So this is another way to suspend targets, and because you're gonna be also unraveling them with your needle, when you kill a strand debuff target, they're gonna proc a tangle. So that's how you gonna that's how that's gonna loop. Next on the legs, this is the Paragon, and I'm using recuperation and 2 strand weapon surges on here. And then on the class mod, it's a demolitionist. They got time dilation, Reaper, and powerful attraction. So I'm rocking a demolitionist, a Paragon, demolitionist, Reaver. Now, when I was playing with this specific setup, one of the issues that I felt like I was running into was I was running out of ammo, special ammo, and I was running out of. I didn't. Well, it's not I run out of, but I wasn't getting my class ability enough. So I found myself in a lot of situations where I ran out of ammo. I didn't have no ammo for the Overlord champions, and I didn't have no class ability to to help my survivability. So that's where the second setup come in at. And this is the version that I prefer you guys to play. The reason why I'm showcasing, I mean, the reason why I'm bringing, or I even brought up the first build in the first place, is because the gameplay is pretty much going to show. I got gameplay on both builds, and I just wanted to showcase both gameplays. So the difference in the second setup is, so the thought process is you can switch out threat of warding. You switch out threat of warding for threat of mind, which is defeating suspended targets grants class ability energy. So that is going to help contribute to the class ability energy that I felt like I was missing. And the thought process behind switching that out is I'm not going to need I'm not going to necessarily need threat of warding because I'm going to be getting woven mail from my weave walk anyway. So that's where that suggestion come from. The next setup, as far as the ammo economy, was switching out powerful attraction for a special finisher. Now, understandably, you are rocking surge mods. So also switching this harmonic ammo generation, switching that out for a charged up mod, so that it increases your max amount of armor charges to 4. So that, and the thought process behind that is, if you're able to get 4 charges and you happen to do a special ammo finisher, then it's going to use 3 of your charges. You are still at least going to have a charge left for your surges. So that's the process behind that. I mean, yeah, that's the thought process behind that. So, but I mean, you don't have to make these changes if you don't want to. If you feel like the ammo economy was, pretty good. Um, the first way I had it set up, and that's perfectly fine. If not, like I said, these are the suggestions I would make. You don't even have to go with the charged up mod if you want to. If you just want to keep it at 3, that's fine. And I forgot to say also, you choose your resistances based off of the mission that you're gonna run. So that's the second setup that I have, or the second um yeah, the second setup that I have. Now, as far as the artifact mods, this is where the magic happens. So I'm using the implement of curiosity, and this is in my opinion, this is the perfect artifact for it because it is pretty much built around tangles. So I'm going with Horde Shuttle, damaging unrivaled targets with the weapon occasionally spawns a threatening several targets that they damage. And of course, you're going to be unraveling targets with your threatening needle. And then pack tactics, dealing damage for threatenings increases threatening damage, and at maximum stacks, threatenings stun unstoppable champions. So this is another way to stun unstoppable champions. And plus, your threatening is going to do more damage the more damage they do. And then I have threatening blast, destroying a tangle with the strand damage increases the radius and explosion of the damage. So as those tangles spawn up, you're going to shoot them with your quicksilver. When you shoot them with the quicksilver, you're going to get a bigger radius explosion and more damage from that tangle, along with the seventh seraph explosion, the Warmind explosion. And then elemental coalescence, defeating targets has a chance to create an elemental pickup, matching your equipped super element. So because you're going to be severing, unraveling, and suspending, that's how you're going to be spawning more tangles. Sustained damage with micro missiles causes the combatant to emit a kinetic shockwave that damages nearby combatants, strong against unstoppable champions. Now, I mainly picked this perk because it's not because of the sidearm, it's because of the quicksilver. Landing multiple hits firing homing micro missiles. So as you're shooting at targets and those micro missiles come out, or those micro missiles hit, this is gonna proc, and it's gonna proc a kinetic shockwave. So it's gonna help pretty much with the AOE. It's just gonna proc AOE from those micro missiles. So this synergizes really good with the quicksilver. And then I have shield crush. While you have woven mail, frost armor, or void overshield, your melee recharges faster and deals increased damage. Pretty self-explanatory. You gain woven mail. It says your melee recharges faster and you deal increased damage. So as I was doing some testing in the firing range, I didn't really see that much of a difference when it comes to the recharge. I don't know if it's bugged or maybe it's very very minor, but I didn't really see any faster recharge. However, I did see the increase in damage. It's like a 50% increase in damage, so it's still useful. And then Tangle Web, creating a tangle by defeating a strand debuff target suspends nearby combatants. So not only throwing the tangle is going to proc the suspend, but also when you kill a debuff target, which is a severed, unraveled, or suspended target, because you're creating a tangle by killing those enemies, they're going to cause another suspend. So it's sometimes you see the suspend is going to chain with each other. So this is how I got. These are the mods that I have on the artifact, and like I said, all of this just works really really well. So keep in mind the micro missiles from the Quicksilver, the rocket sidearm or rocket pulse, grenade launchers or rockets, the tangles themselves, the suspending burst, and the Warmind explosion itself are all going to give you Warmind charges. So it's gonna be hella easy to maintain those Warmind charges. You're gonna have max Warmind charges a lot throughout your gameplay. So Before I show you guys the gameplay, I want to give you guys a few tips on how to use the build itself. Tip number one, the party starter. At the beginning of each fight, you want to make sure that you're throwing either an arcane needle or a thrilling grenade at a red bar enemy, because those are going to be the easiest enemies to get the party started. Now, while you're in the middle of a fight, you want to make sure that you're either throwing another arcane needle at a another red bar enemy, or you're lowering the enemy's health enough to where you can throw another arcane needle, get the kill, and proc another explosion. It's going to be very important to the loop of this gameplay. Tip number two, target practice. Now, you're going to be creating a lot of tangles in the field. So as you're aiming at enemies and shooting at enemies, you want to make sure that you're able to shoot the tangles that are out there in the field. So as soon as you see them out there and you see enemies nearby, make sure that you're shooting those tangles to proc those extra explosions. Do not, I repeat, do not go out your way to go get a tangle. If it's close enough, grab it. If it's mid-range, shoot it or grab it if there's room for it. If it's far away, just shoot it. When in doubt, just shoot the tangle. Tip number three, you get out of jail free card. Always remember that you have Weed Walk in your back pocket. And I told you this build was centered around positioning. Weed Walk is the catalyst to that. Weed Walk is going to get you in position to get you closer to the enemy or closer to wherever you need to go without getting hit. And anytime you get in those sticky situations and you're about to lose your life, make sure you proc Weed Walk, get behind cover and find safety. Try to get your health back. Very important for your survivability in this build. So, those are 3 tips to help you use this build effectively. This is not a run and gun build. You kind of got to have some patience when you're using this build. You want to stay behind cover a lot and let the tangles do the work for you. I've tested this build in different situations, and it definitely requires some patience. So if you're looking for a build that's run and gun, this is not it, unfortunately. But overall, it's a great build for ad clear. Decent with DPS is kind of depends on your special weapon and your heavy weapon. Good ammo economy, at least for the second setup, the second build. And overall, man, the build is just fun to play. The explosions you get are really satisfying. Um, this build is not the fastest clear. From some of the missions I've done, I've ended up past the time. There's a time limit usually on these Grandmaster missions or whatnot. Most of the time I'm past them, or the timer runs out before I finish the mission. So it's not the fastest when it comes to finishing a mission or clearing the eyes out. But that could be also a skill issue. There's one thing I do struggle with is trying to take out champions. I can stun them, but when it comes to trying to like kill them like outright before they come out of the stun, sometimes I struggle. So, and it takes a lot longer for me to kill those champions at times. But other than that, oh, one more thing. I know I mentioned having something in the heavy slot for anti-barrier champions. Keep in mind also that the arcane needle with this Metiodoxia, your arcane needle also can take out barriers on barrier champions. So just in case you do run out of ammo for whatever heavy weapon or whatever weapon you have for anti-barriers, if you don't have any ammo, remember you can always use your arcane needle. I do suggest that you keep an anti-barrier weapon because you already using your needles to proc spin and burst, and you're using it for your weed walk. So to use that also for barrier champions, to me that's just too much. So you want to always keep a backup anti-barrier weapon with you at all times. I mean, unless the mission doesn't require an anti-barrier weapon, then don't worry about it. But yeah. So I'm gonna get into some gameplay. I got two gameplays I'm gonna show off. The first one is going to be of the first setup. The second one is going to be of the second setup. These are not full missions. These are just portions of the missions, just to showcase the build and how everything works in conjunction with each other. So yeah, keep a lookout for that. And yeah, man, if you like everything that you hear, if the build sounds good, you know, set it up. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know how you like it. And if you got any questions, comments, or concerns, also hit me up in the comment section. Like the video, share the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And with that being said, man, red line out.